All this time, days go by, flowers they bloom, and you make my dreams come alive. You make my whole world alright. You're always there, wanting the best for me. My best friend, holding my hand again until the very end. When you smile, you make my life worthwhile. You make my dreams come alive. You make my whole world alright. You're always there, wanting the best for me. You make my dreams come alive. You make my whole world alright. You're always there, wanting the best for me. Yeah, I think it's clear to see we're still in love.
I got something here that I'm not supposed to be showing. There it is. Okay, got it. Okay. Sorry, I had too many buttons clicked there. Okay, to start off, we're going to do the fair use disclaimer. Everything's for educational purposes, and we're here to learn about this case. And then let's get into the legal. Everything in this video is based on opinion as something and interpretations of facts as we know them. Nothing is true unless we can back with facts. Nothing is meant to be used as an accusation against anyone. The thoughts and opinions of the people in the chat are not necessarily the same as the host. Please be kind and do not harass any member of the chat or host. Let's make this a friendly and informative platform to come enjoy learning about what is happening away from our computers, smartphones, and televisions. When I figure out how to save the new PDF so I can use it, I will update this. I've updated it several times. I just can't remember how to save the PDF to be able to use it, because my husband changed my programs around in my computer, and until he tells me how to do it, I don't know. All right. So we're on part 5 today, and sadly, I could only find one news article in the whole month, a whole January and February 2025 that pertained to Sebastian. And So I'm going to play that, and then we're going to move on over into views and opinions by other content creators that have been following the case since closer to the beginning. I haven't found where anybody was following it right at the beginning. I didn't go on Chronicles of Olivia's page. I'm going to be using one of her content, but I got it off of somebody else's page, if that makes any sense. I'll give her credit for it because it is hers, but I got it off of somebody else's YouTube page. Okay. So with that being said, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Please hit that thumbs up on your way in. It helps get my algorithms out so that the video can go to more people. Hit the little bell notification because that lets you know every time I go live. So with that being said, let's do a share screen type thingy over here. We're going to go to 5 News Nashville. And, music. That's why I had that screen open still. Okay. Go back to comments. New details in the, yeah, you can see it. I wanted to make sure I was sharing it. New details in the family of the missing 15-year-old boy in Sumner County. Let's play this video. Hold on. I can't hit pause yet.
My name is Dr. Stephen Park with same.
Hold on. I'm going to have to turn it up. The links are in the description, but I'm going to go ahead and put it right here for StreamYard. So that y'all can see where we're talking about. Okay. And it looks like I'm going to have to turn some volume up.
Day smile. Most important thing for me is for them to feel like I'm their friend. I'm on their side to help them.
I think this is a
their
commercial.
dream of having a brand new smile. Procedure called All on 4 is the major focus of our practice, where you have patient come in with their bad teeth. We could replace their whole mouth of teeth.
I'm sorry about the
I would
commercial.
be more thrilled. And Dr. Park, what he wants to do is make sure that I'm happy.
I would highly recommend same-day smiles to anybody.
Hey, I wanted to ask you, before we go to our first break, and I know you're not probably directly involved in any way. And by the way, we'll take some phone calls, but you've heard about this case where the autistic child, the 15-year-old, is missing out of Sumner County. The Sheriff's Department, the TBI involved. I think he went missing maybe a couple days ago.
It's the sheriff's office, but keep going.
Oh gosh, Sheriff's office. I was going to say, by the way, I was going to send you this past weekend, besides the money, several posts from around the state that have been sent to me where the sheriff's office, and I get an exception here. It says, anyone who has information, please contact the sheriff's department. And the sheriffs themselves are writing this.
Well,
it's all out there. I mean, and he's correct. It is sheriff's office. And the problem is it continues to perpetuate among sheriffs themselves, calling it department at a lot of sheriff's offices across the state. What's with that? I mean, you are hardcore on this, and I owe you money every time I say that. But the reason sometimes I go back is I keep seeing it referred to as.
So if Huey came home when he was in school and said everybody else is doing it, did you allow him?
Well, no, but when the sheriffs themselves refer to their place of employment as department, I defer to, if you work there, I mean, I'm like, well, you're the sheriff. That's what you want it to be called. What am I supposed to do? Call them out? That's their choice, I guess, right?
Well, sure.
I mean, they're the top dogs there. Yes, I would. If, I'm not just because everyone else does it, but who's to say that you're correct and all these other sheriffs are wrong?
Look it up. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean,
why did they call them? It's in news releases. It's funny. I was going to send it to you. I go, take a look at this.
No, I agree with. Of course, I was the president of the National Sheriff's Association.
So you would know.
There's a great, there's a magazine that they have once a month. We ought to send it to you. It's kind of cool. But it was I think you wrote an article for monthly or every other month, whatever, and thing, what agencies do it. I mean, I've seen that on literature. Yeah, you're exactly right. It's a, and you know, it doesn't mean much. It can throw collision of that. There's been, you know, around the country, there's some who say it themselves, but I haven't got.
You always wonder at what point in the game, you know, the consideration of maybe some type of foul play, which they have not said is the case yet. But do you ever have, if you know, a neighboring county when this happens, is there any involvement? And I'm sure the police department or the sheriff's office here, are you even aware of this? Would you have any contact with the sheriff there? Like, well, we can keep our eye out here in Davidson County. Have you heard anything at this point on this?
It's a good question. A couple things. One that you would want to know, the birth father of this child works for us in this situation. Now, I don't know the relationship. There's a lot of conversation about that, but he is an officer with us, been here a year or so. That's not information from him coming to us. We understand that.
This man right here, for those of you who don't know, is Seth Rogers' boss. Sebastian's father works for this man. He is Seth's boss.
That's the case. We always get asked to participate and help in these types of situations. Some version of it. It could be, will you assist in helping? We have 2 staff members who work for us who have, in their private life, they have dogs that search, and so they go out, volunteer their time. They've been out there the whole time helping on their own. But we have to be really careful because it's their private dog. It's not the sheriff's office stuff, but they volunteer and doing that. We have other folks in our special operations response teams who go out and volunteer their time and help. Where it gets a little weird is and it's usually through the Office of Emergency Management for Davidson County that's also working with Sumner County. That's how we get connected to it. Where we have some issues is, and this sounds real petty, but you know, sending people who are getting paid to do a job here over into other counties and do it. So it's I hate to say it, it's almost a volunteer situation. Okay. Because we don't have the equipment.
But you're kind of a camaraderie, the fraternity. You help each other when you can.
Right. And
they volunteer, I bet. They do so.
Right. And we would even do some where you're on the clock doing it. It just always is a weird deal because what happens if it's, you know, Murray County? What happens if you just keep going? And so we've had this conversation. We've had some people up there volunteering. We have some other folks who are kind of in wait to do certain things, but it's just a show of force. It's extra eyes and ears. I mean, we don't have any special skills that would help you in any way, but we usually work through OEM, who is working through OEM out of Sumner County, and I think, you know, just like you, it's a scary situation each day that goes by and you don't see something.
And it's interesting you say this. Our understanding was that the boy's biological parents are separated or no longer married, and I think his mother may have remarried and he may have a stepbrother now along those lines. Just with regard, and that is interesting that he happens to be a deputy, or is he at this point? I can imagine. Have you talked with him? Is he off now helping over there? How is he handling this?
I haven't talked to him or about him. It came to me yesterday, the day before, I guess, that the biological father is an officer with us, but and I think he's been here about a year or so. But other than that, I don't know much of the relationship. And again,
would he take time off? Would you give him time off?
Sure. I mean, he and I would assume if again, this is a weird situation because it's not him saying, "Hey, I need off. My son is missing." That's not happened yet that I know of. But we have 1,000 employees, so it's a little hard for us to even know that. We have a woman who handles our retention, basically works with people who are going through all sorts of issues, and she did put it out. I understand yesterday to our some of our folks to let them know that he is, you know, actually the biological father. So that was all brewing yesterday. We had folks who were up there, like I said, with their dogs. We've had other folks who are kind of in crews or you know, that are potentially going to help. And it just kind of depends on what we're doing, what we're looking for. And we always get in the situation of, are we on the clock paying people to go on our teams, or are we doing volunteer work? And it's just kind of if it's in the county, usually it's on the payroll. it just gets a little hairy as to, you know, and we're short staffed, and we're paying overtime here to send people up there, and it's just hard to decide exactly what's the right thing to do. You want to be a good Samaritan, you want to help, and we do a lot of that, but it would be wrong for me to sit here and say we send people every time someone's missing. We kind of wait and see what our roles need to be, and you know, I mean, Amber Alert stuff was going off, of course, all over the place. So
we are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Davidson County Sheriff Darren Hall's with us. We're going to get to your phone calls in a moment. I just had one quick follow-up question with regard to this missing child in Sumner County. You've handled in the past, or your office has, and your deputies, missing children cases, along probably in partnership with the police department. What is it, and how do you approach it? You know, with a period of time. Right now, the thinking is this child, autistic, perhaps wandered away. But as more time passes, when do you start considering the possibility of other options?
Yeah, and I don't have expertise.
Again, general. I know you're not involved in Sumner.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking back as we were waiting to come back on, but I remember, this was a long time ago, I remember our staff going out searching for Janet March's body. And then I'm just going through stories back, and of course the silver alerts. You have a lot of different times where there's people that, you know, I think personally that always worries me when you have someone who is very elderly who may not know exactly how to get back, and you know, very unlikely that foul play is in that situation.
All right, I think they're done with the Sebastian part of it. The most important thing I want to take away from that, I'm hoping they'll say a little bit more. Well, they just did update us that Seth, Sebastian's biological father, does work for the Davidson County Sheriff's Department. Okay, so that's important to know. That is very important to know. And he was on duty the night that Sebastian went missing. 13 hours on camera from, I think, 6 p.m. to 7 a.m. His truck was locked up in the parking garage on camera. You know, Seth has the receipts. He even showed his time card at one point, I saw. So, okay, we're going to go off of this one. I think I got that music just a little loud yet. I like that of all the choices of songs that I've got, but even after a while, it gets annoying for me. Just hearing the same tune over and over. It makes me feel like I'm on a Verizon phone call or something, waiting on hold, listening to that, whatever that music is. Okay, so now that's all part 5 for what I can get from the news media between when Sebastian went missing on the 25th of February. I have a piece of dust flying around. Between the 25th of February, 2024, and now. The one article that we just saw was the only thing I could see during 2025. Okay, and I know I saw that during 2024, so that had to have been a recap of something. So, okay, next we're going to go into YouTube content creators. And there are a lot of them currently following this case. And I don't know who all is. Trust me, I don't have any way of searching for who all is following the Sebastian Rogers case. And currently, I don't know everybody who's on Sebastian's army that's following the case, and everybody who's on the dark side. I don't want to be. I'm neutral. I am neutral. I am Team Sebastian. I'm not Team Seth. And basically, if you're Team Sebastian, you're Team Seth. From kind of what I could figure out of the story. So, I'm Team Sebastian. I'm not Team Proudfoot Bower socks. So I'm, I'm neutral. I'm neutral. My prayer is that Sebastian is found. He's found safe. He's brought home to his father. And that whoever did this to him, justice will be served for Sebastian and Seth. And if his mother is not responsible for it, for her as well. Okay, next we're going to go to Clutch Them Pearls, Justin. He's actually the first person I saw following this case after the Quentin Simon case. So, just a moment. No, okay, I got it. I was trying to keep from yawning. Something about this time of the afternoon with this cold that I've got, it just makes me want to just yawn and go to sleep. I mean, I'll tell you. All right, so this is Clutch Them Pearls, Justin, and he's got an interview or a video from Nick Barris, who is the news reporter that we just saw talking to Sebastian's father, or Sebastian's father's boss. Sorry. Thank you, Justin. Let me give credit to Justin for his video. The credits are credits are in my description in the bottom, but fair is fair, right? So, okay. All right, Clutch Them Pearls. Let's see what you have to say. Now, I've moved it forward because he does his intro and is talking and welcoming his guests and telling about the Amber Alert and these kind of things. So let's go into what Nick Barris is going to do on YouTube.
Here in the Nashville area. And as I said earlier, a lot of you had asked, and I'm going to kind of give you just the very latest and take some of your questions and comments with regard to not one, but two missing persons cases now, very high profile ones, both of which have made some degree of national news here in the Nashville area, two of which I've been involved with covering and posting about frequently here on Facebook at my page. And so I want to give you an update. This is the first time I'm combining the two of these cases. I thought I'd try to give you the latest on both. I'll do one and then the other, and then I'll take the case we're talking about is 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, who disappeared from his home in Hendersonville, Tennessee, going on now almost 3 weeks. Both vanished seemingly without a trace. There are similarities between the two cases. There are a lot of differences, and so I thought I'd kind of, fair enough.
That's what excuse me, Justin. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you Sebastian. Justin's title is Sebastian Rogers Case. Are we going down the same road as Summer Wells or Riley Strain? And there was some information found about Riley Strain. We do know Riley Strain has been recovered. Sadly, he was unalived. But let's see what Justin's going to let us hear from Nick Barris.
No need to call a news conference. Spend your time and effort continuing to look. At this point, they still continue on the working story from the very beginning that he left on his own, walked away, and vanished.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you a problem. One problem that I do have. Now, I want to be very clear about this. The parents have not been named a suspect. Or, I mean, I'm not saying they haven't. I don't know if they've named them a suspect or not named them a suspect, but they're working according to police. They're working with investigators, which is good. However, one thing that stuck out to me last night was they said that Sebastian didn't have shoes missing. Now, that was a problem for me in the Summer Wells case as well. And to me, it's even more of a problem in Sebastian's case because Sebastian has autism. And he would want shoes on, right? They're very when it comes to touch and textures and things like that, he would want some type of shoes on. He wouldn't want to be barefooted walking away. So that is one thing that really
Just in case, I would
sticks
suggest
out
you get
to
out
me.
there and wipe the snow off.
Why
the
didn't he
truck.
have shoes on? He's not missing
Sweep the
any shoes.
driveway.
Why is he not missing any shoes? He should be missing at least one pair of shoes,
Not in this
in
cold.
my opinion.
Not at 9 degrees.
I had a weird dream about Sebastian a song. Oh, really? He didn't like being dirty, Sally says. Where was it that someone, there we go. Thank you, Donna. Justin, yeah, it happened before where a person was buried on a construction site. That's close to Sebastian's house. Is that what you mean? Because I don't know anything about the construction site related to Sebastian. I don't really know anything about that.
Okay, at this time, Justin wasn't aware of the construction site on the other side of the houses across the road, across Kellen. If you go all the way up Kellen and turn to the right, there was a construction site there where they were building a new housing development. And that's where the retention pond was. That they said that the dog was, they found barefoot footprints and that the dog was jumped into the retention pond. So they drained that little retention pond. But it appears as if right here in Justin's comment right here that he wasn't aware of that yet. And he didn't start following the case until like right before this. I mean, this is like one of his very first casts about the Sebastian Rogers case. So he's, at this point, you can see on his face, he is still learning. He knows a lot more now than he did then, but he is still learning about the case. And he's doing a great job, in my opinion.
I think that the no shoes does not sound right. Yeah, I think particularly Sebastian got bitten by fire ants when he was little, so he does not want to go without shoes. It sucks. I didn't know that, Jersey, but the thing is, with his diagnosis, textures can be really off-putting for someone
The broom's right here,
that
sweetheart.
has his diagnosis. So,
It'll get the snow off.
and it was really cold as well. Stepdad is a friend. Yeah, he works in Memphis or Nashville one, I can't remember. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Pointer Love. It was, I knew it was very cold, 34 degrees, and he left without shoes. No, see, I'm not telling that right now. No. In my opinion, whoever, well, I don't know. I might later, but we'll see. Yeah, sensory issues. He works at the extension to St. Judah. Oh, okay, that's nice. There's a construction site near the home. Okay. But was anyone seen at the construction site, or is it just people are saying, oh, it's a construction site, look there? Yeah, there's a new subdivision right next to where they live now. Why did stepdad not want him around his daughter? Last night he said that wasn't true.
And I don't know what he's talking
That
about
wasn't true.
last night. I did.
Jude,
that.
how are you? A hot dog there.
They say at this point there's no evidence of foul play, but there's also no evidence that there wasn't foul play. And I've said from the beginning that everyone involved in the Sebastian Rogers case
sounds just like Summer's case.
Has done a terrific job. I think law enforcement has covered all their bases. They continue to do a very thorough job. I don't blame them for not doing.
Now even the Secret Service is on this case, from what I understand.
I didn't know about that.
Okay, guidance.
News conferences when they have nothing new to say. But obviously, many of you probably followed some of the stories that I put together. There's an exclusive story yesterday that included video that I obtained. And we've heard all along that law enforcement was collecting neighborhood security ring camera video from that night to see if there was any evidence they could come up with that shows Sebastian or anyone else. I was able to get hold of some. I know there's quite a bit out there that's been collected that they continue to vet. I got hold of some video. We tried to analyze it ourselves, looked at it. And if you've seen it, you can go back on my page here and look at the package if you'd like. It appears to be two subjects, possibly. You cannot see any bodies. You see two lights that seem to be moving around 3:10 in the morning in the general area around Sebastian's home. Now, definitively, do we know for sure there were people or who they were? No. Does it look like that possibly could be something? Yes. Would authorities comment on the record, at the time about the video that I had? No. Okay. And understandable. At that point, they weren't sharing any video publicly that they had collected, but I was able to get.
Do we know what time was that video? I got it here. Hold on. We're going to go over this timeline in just a second. Guidance just sent me something. Let me see here. Christopher. Oh, wrong. Christopher Proudfoot. Yes, I am confirming that the dogs had a scent that led to the construction site. No signs or evidence reveal Sebastian was there. That doesn't make sense. I mean, if it took you to a construction site, then that is some sort of evidence. If there was a scent, please keep in mind tracking isn't as credible as you think. The idea that someone hurt Sebastian and threw him into a wet The idea that someone hurt Sebastian and threw him into a wet, fresh, paved driveway is funny. That's not funny. To bury a body in concrete, it would need at least 12 inches thick. Secondly, you would have to smooth out the concrete and find it before it's dried. All of that is done while a concrete is poured and being set. Thank you for being 332, hitting that thumbs up button. Appreciate it. Chris constantly trying to convince everyone he didn't do anything is sketchy to me. Yes, guys, please hit that thumbs up. I would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it.
Did the snow come off good? It's still got ice?
This clip, which I grant you is a snippet. It's not the entire
Oh.
video clip, I suppose.
When was this video with the flashlight? Do we have a time frame on what time that was? I think I might have it on my timeline. Morning from Alaska.
Not forgotten about Sebastian. Much of the work currently being done to bring Sebastian home may not necessarily be public or visible, but agents, detectives, and intelligence analysis continue to work around the clock to review every bit of information available. Sebastian's family, okay, I assume that being his mother, stepfather, and biological father, but Sebastian's family has remained cooperative since the search began and have done whatever law enforcement has asked of them. And I think it's real important to say that. Law enforcement has not called any of them suspects in this case. I think on social media, a lot of people have been going after, especially the stepfather and the mother. Remember, Sebastian disappeared from the home. He was at the time with the mother. The stepfather was out of town. It's not fair. And people continue to say, well, I think that there's no evidence whatsoever at this point to indicate that the stepfather and mother were involved, or that the biological father were involved. At this stage in the...
I think it's definitely not the bio father. He was... Isn't he a cop or worked for the police station? The stepdad going through a custody case in New Mexico. How many kids does the stepdad have? Does anyone know?
He only has
I
one,
just think
and
that
that
the
was
theory
fake.
of him being in the concrete and then smell. I don't know. I mean, you know, the things.
Okay, my son-in-law is a construction worker, and he works with concrete. And what Chris said makes a whole lot of sense to me. And I'm sure there's other people in the chat that are construction workers, but you can't just go out at 3 o'clock in the morning when concrete's been poured at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and put something in the concrete or under the concrete, because that concrete is already settled. It settles quickly. You have just a matter of a few hours. That's why they are leveling and smoothing out concrete as it's being poured, is because it doesn't take very long for it to get. And if somebody was to, now an animal or something like that can go across concrete a couple of hours after it's poured and still leave a footprint, and people write their name in concrete and whatever, all that. But that's done really close to when it was freshly poured. It's not done 12 hours after the concrete's been poured. That's just what I'm saying. Now, if there was a place at the construction site where the footing had been dug for another piece of concrete to be poured on that Monday, somebody could have gone out, dug down into that place, dropped Sebastian's body down in there, and covered it back over and smoothed it back over and made it look right. That could have happened. I'm not saying it's not possible. I hope it didn't happen. But it is possible. And then when the construction crew came in, if the footing was already dug out, they'd have just come in and started pouring the concrete in and would never have known Sebastian could have been underneath where they just poured fresh concrete. And that is a possibility. But in order to find that out, they'd have to find out which house was being poured. And law enforcement, I'm sure, could tell which footing was being dug that day, or even the construction site manager could tell. But then they'd have to get warrants to tear down that house to search underneath it, or to raise the foundation to be like as if they were going to put a basement under it. They'd have to get permission to dig underneath that house to find out. And depending on a house, could be 2,000 square foot. That's a lot of land to dig underneath of a square piece of concrete, or whatever shape the concrete is for that property. I'm just saying, it could be, it's possible. If you want to think logical, it is possible. So, and they said that there was a couple barefoot footprints. And if they were going to this site and they were going to dig a hole, somebody could have been standing there holding Sebastian up while he's barefoot, and his feet could have touched the wet ground, the muddy ground. And then they could have lifted him back up and put him in the ground. But there would be footprints around, with shoes, footprints showing in that area, unless they figured out a way to smooth those all out too, which that would be going through a lot of trouble at 3:00 in the morning. But anything is possible. I'm not going to rule anything out. And I hope that's not the case. In my heart of hearts, I pray that's not the case.
That raised the alarm bells for me last night was the shoes that I talked about. And like, he didn't have any access to the internet. I thought, well, maybe someone, groomed him or something like that. But then, the stepdad said he doesn't have any access to the internet. Bio dad is a cop, yeah. Bio father is deputy sheriff, I believe. Only, yeah.
Investigation. There's no evidence. And I think, to be fair to everyone involved, you should not call them out. You can have your little gut feeling or whatever, but they have to deal in facts. And law enforcement is saying that's the case. And that's the way it has to be, in fairness to everyone involved, especially them. So the TBI also, further down, they kind of went over some of the things that they've searched along the lines. There was more to it than that. And as I was reading down, the TBI also for the first time addressed the security video that was taken from...
He's been married 5 times. He's been married 5 times.
There's nothing wrong with having been married for.
I didn't even know you were allowed to get married 5 times. Oh, wow. No guidance. See, I just started following this case last night. Like last night. I didn't see the first interview that they did with Dutch. I didn't even get to see that. 5 times. Only a problem with one ex, though. I don't know. I would never marry 5 times trouble. Oh my God, I'll never marry again. I get divorced. You can take that to the bank. Unless it's like a Nicole Simpson. What's her name? Anna Nicole Smith. She married the billionaire. I'll dance for him in his wheelchair or something. Become a billionaire. But other than that, never interested again. Not sure if you mentioned it, but I don't know. The person that texted me that, I don't know. I haven't heard that. Yes. Now, a Howard Marshall I'll work with. I will work with the Howard Marshal. Anything else, I would never get married again. Ever. I've been married twice, and that's too many. Never again. Yeah, I mean, I'll dance around a wheelchair. Absolutely. Of course.
From homes in the neighborhood. Now, I believe they added and addressed that here in part because of the calls they were getting with regard to the story that I aired and showed some of the video. First time any of us had seen any security video, whatever it was, from the neighborhood that night. Now, again, that aired Thursday night. Other videos I've seen have surfaced on social media. Whether they're legit, credible or not, I don't know, okay? But I got to be clear on this. The TBI typically does not comment on evidence collected, okay? They really don't. But in this case, they did, I think, because they were getting questions about the story I aired. And they write, the video has been collected and from the beginning of the investigation has been analyzed and enhanced where possible by tech experts with the TBI, FBI, and Secret Service. To date, nothing gathered from these.
Why is the Secret Service involved in this? Does anyone know? You just don't really hear that often. Justin, do you remember what the mother said about the night she went to bed? Did her husband wake her up at 12 o'clock when it was time to go to bed? No, I don't remember. She what time? She said she put Sebastian down at, let me look at this timeline. 9 o'clock, wasn't it?
All right, I'm going to skip forward and see if we can find anything important here.
Okay. Is this it?
Yes.
Justin, yes. Thank you. Red fire hydrant out front.
Right there.
Where are we at? What's the address here?
You were on the house. That's it. See, there's your fire hydrant.
Let's see here. Let's see. What's the address to that? That's 1009. Which way do we go? Probably.
No. You're going to go right straight across the street.
It's 1011.
8 is right there. Right there where the two white garage doors are. No, not that one. That's
1010. Where's 1008?
right there. No, turn around. Turn around, Justin. Right there where that big old tree is, right there. That is on 1008.
It's a home. Oh, we don't know that. Is this it? Let
No.
me see. What does that address say? 1011.
You're on the wrong side of the street. Odd numbers are on one side, even numbers are on the other.
1013. So it's got to be down.
It's right there. Right there, Justin. On your left. Right there. It's right there. That's it. Back up.
Okay,
Back up.
there it is. Red fire hydrant. Okay, is this it? Right here?
No. That's 1006. Go back up one.
That one right there?
No, that's 1006. Look right here, Justin. Right here. It says 1006 staff report. Go down one more street. One more house.
That one, y'all?
No, Justin.
The white garages. No, back up street.
It's next door to that one. One house over. Back up, back up. Now turn around to right behind you. Right there. That is their house. Right there. No, not that one, Justin. The next one.
Is that it?
No, to your right. There, to your right.
Right there?
No, Justin. That's not their house. He's not listening to me. How come he's not listening to me? He'll figure it out. I know he will. I'm just having fun with
There's a delay. No? 1008 white. What does this say? Let me check this address.
That looked like 1009.
That's 1009.
So right across the street. Right there. That's 1008.
Is this it right here?
No, Justin, it's right there on your right. You're sitting on it. Your shoulder's in the living room.
All the even numbers are ones. Oh. So it's going to be on the other side.
Well, that's their driveway, and the white truck is next to their driveway. Just turn your camera. That's 1008 right there.
Oh God, I want to.
Right there, just right. See there. Scoot back.
That's 1010.
So back up one. That's 1008.
Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Let me make sure. Let me look at Sebastian. Let me make sure that's it. Okay, that's it. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So they got a fence around back. All right. So where would this camera have been?
Right there.
Is that a doorbell camera? Where do you guys think they're saying that there's a camera? It's dark here during the night, right? If it's dark here, yeah, I mean, these are very nice homes. The neighbor behind. Okay, where's the neighbor behind? Let's look here. Is there a street next door? Okay. Let me see if I can get a little bit of a different.
You have to go the other way, Dave.
Okay, like right here. So we're looking at right here.
No.
This is the neighbor. Oh, God. So, if that's the neighbor that got the footage,
It's not.
that's a problem because there it shows what would appear as two individuals. Stop touching buttons. right? Because that's right. I mean, it's dead smack right behind that house. In my
But the
opinion, they did
camera
not
is
choose
off,
for it as a second
like over on the other side of this tree. Off the
back of
Stanford Court
neighbor's
goes around this way,
house,
and
pointing
Callan
towards.
is right there,
Yes.
and that camera is over on that side.
I mean, look at this. This is something. Let me make it bigger for y'all so y'all can see it better. See what I'm seeing. See how close that is?
Yeah, but that's not the house with the camera.
All right, this is their home. Right, here's their home.
So this is the house that has the camera. Or this one. This one would be, and the car would be
here's
right.
their home with the trees and stuff.
So
Flip
where
this
this
around.
car is about where, or in right here, is about where the mystery car was. So, you know, that would have come across the commons through here.
I think this is an old.
See,
I'm on the other side of the neighbors now. Yeah, you can't see anything in the neighborhood over here where their home would be. Can't see anything from the other street. Well, maybe.
I've never seen
I think it
anybody
might
try
be
to
their
look
back.
at it from this direction.
The back of their house. Perhaps.
No, that's not the Proudfoot home.
Let me just. Yep, that's the back of their house.
See, so the common area
No,
they
it's
come
not.
across here, because I think that's the
Nope.
gazebo that you
me
see
try
in the
right here.
images. So it'd come across here, and that car would be sitting right here.
I'm gonna look to the right. No. This is the back of their home. See, you can see the fence. But there's a lot of trees around this. They have the same kind of fence. White shed.
Okay. We're going to be here all night if we don't.
Said last night that they took a lie detector test, but then he said, how did he say it last night? That they took a lie detector test, it was passed, but then he said he didn't know, he didn't say who did it or something to that effect. Make sure you watch Duchess live last night. Justin, I went to finish. Which door would he have went out of? Master in front, Sebastian in back. Oh my God, I had someone at the door. It was an ex-prisoner selling items to get back on his feet. I got so scared. Doors are now locked. Oh, Canadian cookie. Be careful, honey. Picks. All right. Let me see here. What do I got next? Make sure I'm trying to make sure I don't got anything else for Sebastian that I wanted to talk about.
Are Seth and Tony going to be on Lorelog?
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, I just don't see him leaving
I just got a
by
message
himself
that says watch
barefooted.
them
I
pearls
mean, I just
pre-show before.
don't. Make sure you're joined to the
Okay, it's not going to play the rest of this one. So basically what we learned there was Justin was he was getting his bearings, which is what I should have done instead of going this far and then backing up. Okay? So, but Justin was way earlier in the case than I was. He was like 3 weeks in, and I was like 6 months in. So, you know, all right. The next, we're going to go to Chronicles of Olivia. And credit for this will go to Chronicles of Olivia. Okay. I think I got it off of Smiley Story's case. So I do believe this was on Smiley's story, but I don't want to. It just looks like it's straight off Chronicles of Olivia's page. So, okay. I want to give credit where credit is due here. She did the hard work of getting the.
Because he also doesn't have awareness. Because if you look, he's got chocolate milk on his face. Because he didn't.
Look right there. The very first thing into the show. I'll start it over. She's talking about him having chocolate milk on his face. He's a young man starting to get a mustache. Maybe she just thinks it's chocolate milk.
In today's video, I interviewed the mother and stepfather of Sebastian Rogers, a 15-year-old who vanished from Hendersonville, Tennessee on February 26th of 2024. He vanished and hasn't been seen since.
Although he doesn't like to be dirty, it's kind of funny because he also doesn't have awareness. Because if you look, he's got chocolate milk on his face.
That looks like mustache starts to me.
It's funny like that.
Can you recap the overall story of Sebastian's disappearance? Kind of walk through that day.
Sunday, the day before he went missing, we got up and, fun fact, I made breakfast that morning. We had a good time. We were laughing, we were joking. He talked to family on the phone during breakfast to brag. We went and picked up our niece.
Yes,
Yeah, I got a call.
See, now if he wasn't there, how would he know that they went and picked up his niece? How would he know? Why would she have to ask him if she went to pick up his niece?
And asked if I could go and pick her up, and I did. And so we went and did that. We went to BJ's. Had a good time there. He ate a colossal popcorn. Came home to put groceries away because we bought snacks because, you know, he's 15 and snacks. We went to the bowling alley. And then from there, we went to dinner. Came home. He took out the trash because that's his chore. He takes the can to the end of the driveway. About 9 o'clock, told him to go to bed. And he's come out of his room where he was playing, and he said, "All right, good night, Mama. Good night, puppies. I love you." And went to bed. He was doing something in his room because about an hour later I heard some noise, and I was like, "I don't care what you're doing in there, but go to sleep." And about midnight, I got up and I went to bed. And 6 o'clock, I went to wake him up for school Monday morning, and that's when he wasn't here.
What was going through your mind at that point? Like, what were the feelings that you were feeling?
To censor myself. Holy freaking crap, this can't be happening. Where is my kid? Choice words were used. Like, where the F is he? I had called
What's the purpose in having to reiterate yourself? If you already said you're going to censor yourself, then you say, holy freaking crap, then why are you going to say, where the F is he? Why repeat yourself and say the same thing twice? That doesn't make any sense at all. She's trying to cover up something. In my opinion, it looks that way to me.
Looked through the house for him because it was typical for him to get up and come and rummage for snacks and things like that. And he likes to dip behind the, walls and watch, and then he comes out after I come back and he likes to scare me. But after I looked, and I mean, mind you, all of this took place in like 1 minute flat. But I didn't see him in his room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows, and I was like hollering his name. And
my house is a little bit bigger than theirs. I have a basement. They don't have a basement. But we have 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms upstairs, same as they do. I could not look through my whole house looking for my son in 1 minute. There's no way. Not if I'm going to look thoroughly and look in all the closets and under the beds. There's no way I could do it in 1 minute. No way.
I picked up the phone and I called my husband and I said, I can't find him. And he said, what do you mean? I said, he's not in this effing house.
Why can't she say, I can't find Sebastian? She could be looking for one of the dogs, She could be looking for one of the dogs. I can't find him. He's not in this house. It could be one of the dogs.
I can't find our son. And I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood and I drove over by the school, and he's already
When did she take time to put clothes on? Or is she driving around in February in her nightgown?
At this point, I was hysterical and I was crying and I was screaming. And he was like,
Signal. She's about to say something he didn't want her to say. She's going to change paths. I'm going to back up just a little bit. You'll see that in just a minute.
His room. I looked all over. I ran through the whole house. I looked out all the doors and windows, and I was hollering his name. And I picked up the phone and I called my husband and I said, I can't find him. And he said, what do you mean? I said, he's not in this effing house. I can't find our son. And I jumped in my car and I drove around the neighborhood and I drove over by the school, and he's already at this point I was hysterical and I was crying and I was screaming. And he was three-wayed law enforcement and was telling them our son is missing and we don't know what's going on. And he was like, go back to the house, they're on their way. And I drove back to the house. And
okay. Now I don't know why Katie did not call 911 from Sumner County. Okay? I don't know why. They're saying it's because she's hysterical, but they're trained to deal with hysterical parents whose children are missing. Okay? Chris could not call 911 if he was in Memphis because it would have gone to the Memphis Police Department. And then it would have had to been transferred to Sumner County Police Department and then to Sumner County Sheriff's Department and all that. So because he went to school with somebody who's on the Sheriff's Department, he was able to call straight through to the Sheriff's Department non-emergency number. So that's why I've been hearing a lot of questions. Why did not Chris call 911? Because it wouldn't have done him any good to call 911 from Memphis.
20 days later, we haven't found him.
Yeah, I can't even imagine how stressful that is. And also, like when we were driving up here, like this neighborhood is so pretty and nice. And do you think, has he ever like walked away before, or like has that ever happened? It's just no, first time.
He's not a child that wanders. He's not one that is
He doesn't have a history of being an eloper, which is common. And
I'll tell you what, I looked on Zillow at their house, and their house is smaller than my house. Okay, technically you could say they had a 4-bedroom house because they do have a bonus room up above their garage, but they've got one 2-car garage. Okay, and they're on what looks to be maybe 1/4 of an acre of property. Then they've got a 3-bedroom house with a living room and a sunroom and a kitchen and bathrooms and that sort of stuff. My house has 3 bedrooms upstairs and a dining room, which theirs has a dining room off the kitchen. Plus I have a 2-car garage out right here. Well, it's actually, you can only fit 1 car in it, but they say it's a 2-car garage. Right outside on the other side of this wall right here. And then down below, down the hill on my property, I have an RV garage with its own driveway. And then back behind my house, I have a shed that's 8x8 and 9 foot tall. And that's my dog house because I have 3 German Shepherds. And I'm on an acre of land. And they paid $20,000 more for their house in Tennessee than I paid for mine in Nowhereville, Kansas. Whew. Well, I'm not paying for my house. My husband's paying for my house. But still, the point's there. And it's neither here nor there to the case. Real estate and prices or whatever. But if you ask me, I think they overpaid for what they got.
I have friends with children on the spectrum who do struggle with elopement with their children, but no, Sebastian, that's one thing, has always been a blessing. He's not been an eloper or a runner. His primary areas are like social and emotional dysregulation issues and things like that. But he's very smart. He's functional. Overall, he's a pretty happy kid. I mean, he's a teenager. He's coming into his hormones. He's angry that he's growing a mustache. But for the most part, he's a happy kid. And
what are your theories? Like, I'm sure your mind has thought of every possible thing that could have happened, but is there any theory that you can talk about that you think?
What I can tell you is, with all law enforcement, with everybody that's involved, there's nothing that's been eliminated. Everything is on the table. Everything is being looked at from every possible aspect.
I just realized something. Hold on. Hold on. Look at this picture. Okay? I was watching, we might see it in one of these videos, okay? Justin was talking about a picture that was taken the day before Sebastian went missing when they were at Costco's, BJ's. Yeah, they were at BJ's. Okay, it shows, I'm going to see if I can look this up. Okay, it shows underneath Sebastian's chin right here, and they were talking about this might be a bruise. Justin agrees that this is his glasses. It's the shadow of his glasses from the light being up above him, okay? Because it goes all the way across his face. And this is the shadow of his eyes, making his eyes look dark, okay? Down here, under here, you can see the shadow from where his ear comes around, but you can see the shadow of his jawline coming down right here. And they were talking about this shadow. The picture at BJ's, Sebastian is wearing a tan shirt. This picture was obviously taken some years earlier. You can tell by the gaps in his teeth. Those are little children's teeth. He hasn't gotten his adult teeth yet here. So I'm going to say this was about 10, 11 years old. But he has that same shadow right there. So Justin, if you see this, and I hope you do, if anybody that goes to Justin's channel, this is one of the missing person signs for Sebastian, the one of the yard signs. So the same shadow, can somebody please point that out to Justin, that this same shadow is on this picture as on the BJ's picture. So that will debunk this being a bruise around Sebastian's neck, because he has the same birthmark right there and the shadow comes across here. I think that's just shadowing of his jawline. So if anybody goes to Justin's channel, please point that out to him, that this is from one of the missing person signs out of their front yard, and that's the same shadow as in the BJ's picture in the tan t-shirt. If somebody would please.
What are your theories? Like, I'm sure your mind has thought of every possible thing that could have happened, but is there any theory that you can talk about that you think?
What I can tell you is, with all law enforcement, with everybody that's involved, there's nothing that's been eliminated. Everything is on the table. Everything is being looked at from every possible aspect.
Everything from he got out and walked away and was outside of the search radius before we started searching to the worst. And
that's currently where we're at. I mean, it's...
Yeah. Really try not to go down that road, because we're going to find him.
Why isn't he comforting his wife? He can see she's clearly fixing to get emotional about her missing son. Why doesn't he comfort his wife? I'll tell you what, if that was my husband sitting right there and I was sitting right there, there wouldn't be a poster between us. It would probably be up on top of this above us, and we would be touching. My husband would have his arm around me, because that's just the kind of wonderful man he is.
Speculating causes problems. Assumptions cause issues. And based on facts of what everybody knows, right now, there's nothing, and everything is still on the table to be looked at.
We just know he's out there somewhere.
One other question I have is, recently Channel 5 in Nashville, they had security footage that showed 2 flashlights the night he disappeared. Is there anything that you think about this video? Or
here comes a lie.
Sure. So there's a lot of speculations about that video that are floating on the internet. Okay. And that is exactly what it is. It's speculations. Now, what I can give you an official statement on is TBI Newslink has released a statement from law enforcement, between local law enforcement, state law enforcement, some federal law enforcement, and they have analyzed that video so many times over that everything that everybody is trying to assume is a flashlight, I hate to say this, it's not. As much as we would love it to be one, it's not. I'm not going to go into details as far as where that video is shot from, but I can tell you, as the parents, we have seen the video firsthand from law enforcement. We know exactly where it was taken from, and nothing that is being assumed right now is actually true about that video, unfortunately.
I don't believe it.
Anything about any other videos or anything like that, please refer to the TBI news link that they have out there, the updated Amber Alert stuff, and it will give you the most up-to-date information that all law enforcement has, and they will give you current as far as what's what and how they're looking at things.
And if there's any new video, forward it to them.
Please.
Yeah. Security footage is really like a game changer. We're working on Riley's strain and trying to find like if someone missed one on a corner or something. So that's
around this neighborhood, and this whole community. I mean, I can tell you that much here. When it comes to the cameras, there has not been one person that has said no. And trust me, it is greatly felt that everybody has been so open, so helpful in pushing out any which way they can. I mean, there's been some families that have actually been on vacation that weren't home, and they got they've got permission from that family to take a look at their cameras and go in their houses without them even being present, which has been amazing. So, but yeah.
That's good. If there was something that you could say to Sebastian if he was listening, what would you say?
Oh, God. That if you can see this or hear this, that we just want you home, baby, and we love you. And there ain't nothing gonna stop us from coming and getting you and bringing you home.
I can't speak for his father, but I'm pretty sure we all have the same opinion, that we love you, miss you, we want you home. And if you can, call us, get wherever you can, let us know, and we will come get you.
Call 911, run out into the street, go in public, anything. The signs that we've been blessed to have family, friends, and even some in the community that have been helping us, but we've been out spreading those as far as we can, even over state lines, trying to get awareness because, you know, not everybody knows that he's missing, and there's a chance that if someone could see him and not even realize who he is. So we want to get his face out there because we want him home.
Surprisingly, even locally, there are some folks that don't even know what's going on, and it's kind of like a shocker. Like, how do you not know? You know, it is amazing because in the past couple of weeks, you've got 2 cases. A 15-year-old boy that has vanished without a trace. You've got a 22-year-old, 6'4" or 7" college kid from Missouri who has vanished without a trace. That's a huge significance here. That it's like, wow.
Why is he taking the focus off of Sebastian and putting it on Riley Strain? What's the point in that? I don't see the purpose in that. I mean, I understand there's 2 right there in the same area, but Riley Strain was really up closer. He was in Nashville, wasn't he? And they're 2 totally different kinds of disappearance. Riley Strain came out of a bar or near a bar or something, and Sebastian came out of his mama's house in the middle of the night.
How? So
That's scary.
yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, the college kid is from Missouri, I think.
Yeah, Missouri.
I can only imagine what his family is going through.
It's like your worst nightmare come alive.
Do you guys receive hate
That-
on the internet?
Yes, and it's ongoing. It's every single day. People are people, and they have their opinions. Everybody is formulating their idea of what's going on and who's guilty and who's not guilty because they want to know or they feel they need to know. There's a difference. Unfortunately, what I will tell you is that when you're the family in this position and you're working with law enforcement and everything's going the way it goes, people automatically assume this parent or that parent. And in this situation, I can promise you, every single parent has been vetted.
No,
I
we
can't
haven't.
go into details, but I can tell you we have been vetted
No, you
and
haven't.
we have been cleared
No, you haven't.
of all possibility of wrongdoing, foul play.
They will never be cleared. And later on in the search, you will find out, even Sebastian says, none of us can be cleared. He said it when we were going through newscasts in, I think it was part 2, day 2 of this. Seth said, none of us can be cleared until Sebastian is found. They can't clear any of the parents until Sebastian has been found.
There's nothing to that. We've heard all kinds of stories.
I pretty much don't even go online anymore at this point.
I, on the other hand, I do go on and I do talk to these folks and I want them to understand they have this formulated opinion on who we are, not who we truly are. They've never met us. We've never been,
You won't
we've
let
never
anybody
crossed
meet
paths
you.
with some of these folks. But I have told them online, if you want to know, just ask me. I'll answer your questions to the best of what I can. There are some things that I cannot give you because law enforcement.
All right, Chris Prophet, I have a question for you. You're about to say the words out of your mouth, law enforcement has told us we can't say things. Why are you saying that when Sheriff Craddock said right out of his mouth, they cannot tell you not to say anything? Sheriff Craddock said they cannot tell you that. Why are you sitting there looking at Miss Olivia and lying through your fake teeth? Now, nothing against anybody that's got fake teeth. I got fake teeth, but I don't lie through them.
Enforcement has dictated that we are not to provide certain information, but I will try. I am direct, I am brash, but I am very respectful. So
Anything he doesn't want to answer, he automatically says, law enforcement says I can't tell you that.
if you have questions, ask. I'll give you what I can. Just be respectful, please. And keep in mind, there's 3 parents and there's thousands and millions of people out there that may have a question. We are trying to get to them. I promise you.
How has your guys' life been affected by this? Like, I know it's a broad question, but what's like when you wake up in the morning, what's it just like?
Miserable, to be honest with you.
Think of it like this. You wake.
Why won't Katie look at the camera? Why she won't even look at Miss Olivia. She won't look. She says it's because she's looking at the pictures of Sebastian. But even when she does look up, she doesn't look at Miss Olivia. Watch her eyes.
Wake up every morning and your routine is what it is and you know it, right? Now wake up when this happens and you can't figure out what to do. You struggle every single day on trying to get out of the bed, to deal and face everybody's negativity, you know, and you try to make it a positive thing.
Or the fact that my son's still not home.
You know, we have a bedroom
Well,
that's
let's
empty
see a
that
picture of
is
Sebastian
never,
looking
normally
across
never
the
empty,
table.
except for when he's with his dad every other weekend. So now we have a child that's missing. So there's no words to describe it, but I can just tell you, it's like you get up and now you don't know what to do.
Sebastian's parents also talked about how his actions and behaviors could be different, or how he would respond in a new environment.
Well, that's kind of tricky because Sebastian hasn't been on his medication in 20 days. So he is rambunctious.
I'm going to say this again. I said it in the beginning. Sebastian was diagnosed. They knew he had a chromosome deletion at an earlier age. I don't know what age that was, but Sebastian was diagnosed with autism in August of 2023. He went missing in February of 2024. In the 7 months' time since he was diagnosed with his autism, hold on just a minute. I'm sorry, that was my husband calling. I'll call him back when I'm done. Okay. So it's only been 7 months. And in that 7 months time, they are still trying to, I'll tell him you said that. They're still trying to regulate his medications and find out what the dosage levels should be. And Sebastian's still trying to learn how he's supposed to be feeling and how each new medication, or however many medications he's taking, is going to help him regulate out. You can ask anybody that's taken any kind of medication that's to help with the way the pathways work in your brain. It takes a while to get things straightened out. So saying he's been 20 days without his medication, okay, if he'd been on this medication for 6 or 7 years and then have to be 20 days without it, I can understand it being a concern. But when he's only been on it for 7 months, his body's still not fully used to it. So he knows how he used to function 7 months ago without it. And he was able to maintain and handle himself 7 months ago before he was diagnosed as autism. So these 20 days that he has been without his medication, yes, it's affecting him. I'm not saying it's not. I'm not trying to be a cold-hearted witch here. What I'm saying is they're treating his autism like it's something that they have been treating him for years. And if he was only diagnosed 7 months ago, they themselves don't fully understand all there is to understand about autism. I'm just saying.
He He's going to be hungry. He turns into a bottomless pit. I mean, he's your teenage boy, you know, always hungry. On the spectrum, yes. But not one autistic child in this world is like another one. What we can tell you is he's smart. He can be goofy. He kind of has issues with personal space. He hasn't mastered.
He can be
up in your face kind of kid.
He can be aggressive if he's upset.
Yeah. He's emotional. He's a teenager.
He doesn't like punch and hit and throw, but he gets really like aggressive stanced or like clipped where he just won't talk to you, or you know, if he's really upset, he like growls.
Yeah,
I have a 17-year-old son that has not been diagnosed with autism, and he does those things too. If he gets mad at me, he'll shut down. There's no talking to him. He'll stand and listen to everything you have to say, but he's not going to respond. You're just in one ear and out the other. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. But yeah, and he growls. He goes, "Oh, why do you do that? Why do you do that?" That's a teenage boy.
Oh man.
Share, look,
Be vigilant. You know, and we don't expect everybody to stop what they do and spend every waking minute. But you would be surprised on how easily people are complacent and not realize certain things. We're all guilty because we're all human. We all live a daily life. But sometimes just being a little bit extra vigilant.
Aware of your surroundings in case there's something suspicious.
You never know. But
not to defend anybody, but in my opinion, if you've had a child that has had the same issues developmentally or emotionally for many years, the way they are, the way they act, the way you respond doesn't change just because you got a diagnosis. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Manda Panda. And in the 7 months since he was diagnosed, has he really changed that much from the new medication? I mean, seriously, he's still learning that medication. He is still the same Sebastian Rogers that they had in their home 8 months ago as he is now. In my opinion.
don't ever stop is all we ask. Please keep looking, keep searching. Anything, reach out. You know, doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're gonna definitely, you know, keep his story in the spotlight, and all it takes is for one person to see something or know something, and that's just that one clue.
The old saying, see something, say something.
And a few others, but we're working with everyone we can. And taking, like, some people have been kind and reached out with resources that I didn't know were out there, and I've reached out to all of them. Truckers Against Trafficking, we reached out to them just in case.
Why?
There's not a pill that fixes autism, to my understanding. That comes with the therapy and learning how to function normally in a social environment. Yeah, the medication helps. It's kind of, from what I understand now, like Chris did say, no two autistic people are the same. But from what I understand, the medication works in the same effective way as like an ADHD medicine or a anti-anxiety medication or something. It helps to calm them down. so that they can take the extra minute that it takes to think about their situation before they react on it. And I don't understand all of what autism is. No, I'm not trying to belittle anybody. I mean, trust me, there are people that are truly, seriously affected with autism. But I knew a guy at a place where I used to work, and he had Asperger's. And some people were saying he has autism, and he was saying he had Asperger's. At the time, I didn't know there was any difference. I thought it was all the same. My youngest stepdaughter was recently, well, not recently, it's been about 3 years ago, but she was diagnosed with what they call high functioning Asperger's. And I don't know if she's on medication for it or not. I think she's trying to handle it naturally with different food combinations. So I don't know. I don't know enough about either situation. The medication I just looked up says that it just deals with the irritability that comes along with autism. It doesn't cure autism. I don't think there's actually a cure for it, but I can understand what you're saying about it. It helps them to be able to stop for a minute and think so that they can think about their situation before they explode. That that makes a lot of sense. Thank you for looking that up. I do appreciate it. Okay, let's get through the
biker world. That's one thing everybody has in common is their love for a child, and they can't stand to see children missing, hurt, and it doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter what group it is. That's one commonality between every group, and that's why, as a part of being in that world, we go and we utilize our brothers and sisters to help spread that word. You'd be surprised on how easy it is to spot somebody. The biker. So,
how can people help?
This community, I'm gonna tell you right now, far and wide, multiple communities, counties, various people, some people in other states reach out either through social media, in person, but everybody is searching. They've looked, they're constantly looking, they're constantly giving us.
Okay, Amanda Panda says, it literally says that the medication that they give to autistic kids is Risperidone, which is basically Adderall. I could see how the medication could negatively affect a child, especially coming off. If they come off of it, even if they've only been on it for 7 months, well, yeah, because it only takes like a month or 2 months. Didn't your doctor tell you that you would have like 8 weeks of getting used to your medication, and at week 4 is when things would really get screwy? Amanda Panda does not have autism. She has other issues going on with life, but she's getting it taken care of. So, yeah, I can understand that. That's what they keep telling me about my anxiety medicine too, because I say I take it as needed, and they said you can't take anxiety medicine as needed. You have to take anxiety medicine every day in order for it to get into your system and stay in your system. I don't like to take pills. I don't like to take my the pain medication for my lower back so that I can walk. I'll go 2 or 3 days without it, but by the 3rd day, I am not getting up them stairs, and my bedroom's in the basement. So, I do take it because if I don't take it, I know I won't walk. Then Amanda Panda says, yeah, they also said the thyroid would take time to come down, and it dropped. Yeah, your thyroid did drop dramatically, really quick. I think they put you on too high of a dose of medication. And I do hope that the new doctor that you're going to be seeing will help get all that regulated and get you on a even curve so that you're just smooth sailing, little lady, smooth sailing. All right, that's the end of that one. Next, okay. Next, we're going to go to another video, and I have never seen this one before today, and it says huge red flags in the interview with Sebastian Rogers' mom and stepdad. Now, I don't know. Amanda says, but with a kid who knows how quick or slowly that coming in and going out of his system, especially at 15 years old. Yeah, you're right. Because when CJ was on his ADHD medication, he knew exactly when he was coming off of it. And by the time he got out of school, like from 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's when he would start getting frustrated with school. And until we finally got him off of it and found out, all of the allergies, and we cut out a lot, like he's allergic to milk and he's allergic to wheat and stuff. So we cut all that out of his diet, and it helped with his anger issues that they were saying was causing his ADHD. And his problem with school was he was bored because he was smarter. At his first time in kindergarten, he should have actually been in first grade. And then they held him back in kindergarten for a second time. So things come way too easy for him. And then they've got him on an IEP, and he's in special ed classes. But he's really excelling in school. He's doing really well in school. And he's not on any medication. When he starts getting a sore throat and starts getting an all-time cough, I'm like, have you been drinking a lot of milk? Yeah, okay, you need to cut back on the milk. I've been eating cereal. Well, you need to cut back on the cereal because you're getting too much milk. And when he starts having anger issues and he starts snapping at me and whatever, you've been eating a lot of wheat? Oh, no, I've just been eating ramen noodles and spaghetti and macaroni and cheese. You've been eating a lot of wheat. We need to cut back on your wheat. So, yeah, we're able to control most of his with his food choices. Okay, now this is going to be profiling with Pat Brown. It did come from Smiley's Story World. The link to this is in my description, but I'm going to give credit to Smiley's Story World. Because it's actually, that's one of those where it's kind of iffy. The video actually belongs to Profiling with Pat Brown, but I haven't found her website. But I did find Smiley Stories World, and that's where I got the video from. So this says huge red flags in her interview with Sebastian's mom and stepdad. Statement analysis. So let's see if this is the same video we just watched, only in a different aspect.
Hello, everyone. This is criminal profiler Pat Brown, and I've been asked to give my commentary, my analysis of the Sebastian Rogers case.
Okay, this is not the same video we just watched because you can see they're in different clothes.
That's a missing boy, the missing autistic boy in Tennessee. And he's been missing a couple weeks now at the time of this video. And I've been waiting to discuss this because I've been trying to find enough information as much as I can before I jump to any conclusions. But there are huge red flags that I have.
Amanda Panda says, but with a kid who knows how quick or slowly they... Oh, you already read that. Sorry. Rereading your stuff. Okay.
Found in the interview done with the mom, Katie Proudfoot, the stepdad, Chris Proudfoot, and they're extremely concerning to me. Now, I'll say this up front. I'm not accusing anybody of having done anything. But if I were a detective working on this case or a profiler working on this case, these are things that stand out to me and would make me look further in a certain direction. Okay? Because that's the way investigations go. It doesn't mean the person is guilty until you find enough evidence that they are guilty. It just means that, we're just trying to figure out, do I look this direction, or how much effort? Do I put 50-50 or 80-20 or 90-10? This is how detectives have to pursue cases. They have to put the manpower and the money to where they're going to have the most likely success in solving the case. So I'm going to give you my analysis of this. I'm going to start out with the big red flags first, just so you don't think you have to wait to the end of the video to get there. I'm not trying to hold you up, keep you on this video. But once I show you the big red flags, I do encourage you to stay with the video because I will then go into the other things that also are concerning and my analysis of what I actually think happened based on what I know so far. So, all right, let's get to this. Oh, before I start, hey, please, this is an educational channel. Please do subscribe to the channel. It keeps us going. Oh, it keeps me going because there's no us. It's just me. Keeps me going, keeps the channel going, and keeps the education going out to people who would like to understand criminal profiling and crime scene analysis. So please subscribe, like the video, check my playlists, and hit the button that little bell so you can get notifications. Okay, let's go to it.
Please do that for me as well. Hit the bell and the subscribe button and the thumbs up button so that it'll help my video get out.
All right. First of all, I just want to say, when I looked originally at this case, just pictures of Sebastian, I didn't get an immediate feel that he had a bad life going on. It seemed like, well, this picture, for example, there he is with his puppies, and he seems to really loves his puppies. And I think, oh, a family that provides puppies for this child, that's cool. And he has a snake, and I'm a reptile lover, so I'm like, hey, cool, he's got himself, I think this is a ball python. And I think that's really neat. And it's like, okay, so he's got autism, but they're providing for him in a positive way, making his home life happy. Chris Proudfoot says he's a little bit strict about Sebastian being on social media and getting on the phone and doing things. I'm okay with that. I don't know how strict he is, but I understand that hopefully the two of them as a couple have made these decisions, not just the stepfather, and also Sebastian's father, who is Seth Rogers. Also, hopefully he's in the mix, and he does live close by. So could he have what seems to be a pretty decent home life? It did seem so. Then he disappears. And the couple here, his mother and his stepfather, do not go in front of the media for about a week, which is odd right there. That's a red flag. Because according to them, they think he actually left of his own accord in the middle of the night. And if that happens, generally speaking, most parents would want to be standing out in front of their house with a microphone saying, hey, you got to look for my son. For some freaky reason, he left the house. We don't know why. We think he's out there. Maybe he went into the woods. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even understand it. But here's who he is. This is our son. This is how he's 15. He's autistic. Here's some of his behaviors. Here's what he likes. Here's what he doesn't like. Here's what he looks like. I would put out everything I could so people could search for my child. And I put out immediately to my child, Sebastian, if you're out there, Sebastian, we love you. Come home. Call us. Call the police. 911. Ask for help. Whatever you can do. Please. We want you home. That should have been done right away, and it wasn't. And when they finally did do an interview, the media called it breaking the silence. Why would they be silent? That makes no sense to me. So they finally did this interview, and it was one of those interviews which annoys me from the media. They're not asking, basically how to find Sebastian. They're starting to go on the, how are you feeling? Blah, blah, blah. How is it for you? It's like this emotional thing because they want to do the human interest side of things rather than find this child who's missing, which is very annoying to me. So I'm going to analyze things from this video now. And I want to tell you what kind of analysis I do as far as statement analysis goes. There is a person out here who I respect highly. It is Peter Hyatt. I've known Peter for years. He's got a couple videos on the case. I'm going to link them below. He does what I consider full statement analysis. That is a specialty of Peter. So if you want to get deeply into all the different nuances of statement analysis, and in this case as well, do check out what Peter has to say. Peter Hyatt's just the best at this. We've agreed on so many cases over the years. He's not one who's shy to say what he comes up with. He doesn't do things because they're popular. He simply says what he sees, and I respect him for being very professional in doing that. I do not do that kind of statement analysis. What I do is what I call red flag statement analysis. If I've been working with the police department and I've analyzed interviews, what I'm pointing out are things that jump out at me. So not every single
He was out there searching. He was out there searching every single day. Cold weather, rain weather. Maybe it'll be after the stream. I don't know. I sent you the link. I sent you the thing.
Oh. My son.
Better?
How dare you? So that's, I find interesting that his dad, his bio dad, is not in work. He's not all snuggly with these two. Why not? Because they should all be on the same page, and it doesn't seem so. So that's another big thing for me.
I agree with that.
All right. The next thing. How did he disappear out of the house? Mom says, now, stepdad, there's a lot of like very limited information. From what I can gather, and I may be wrong because I can't find much information, he was going away to work in Memphis, where apparently he would go down there and stay for quite a bit of time. I don't know if it was he goes stay for 2 weeks before he came back. They lived in Hendersonville, which is close to Nashville. You can see it's about a 3.5 hour trip. Now, I'm not saying I'm accurate on this, but he was not in town when he supposedly disappeared out of the house. From what I can gather, and it's very, very, very vague, it seemed like he was there the day before he disappeared. And it appears he left approximately, and I'm not sure, somewhere around 9 o'clock at night to drive to Memphis. And they chatted while he was going down to Memphis. So he was out of the house, and she was alone with her son.
See, now that's the first I'd heard of that, because I heard he wasn't there that weekend. That's what he's been maintaining all along. I don't know where she got her information. She may know something more because she's a retired investigator, so she might know more than we know.
She said goodnight to him. He said, good night, love you, Mom, love the puppies. And then she dozed off and went to sleep. He's out of town now, supposedly driving to Memphis and in Memphis. At some point in the night, this child who supposedly is happy, has no reason to walk out of the house, gets up in the dark and walks out of the house in bare feet, supposedly with a flashlight. She says when she goes to wake him up for school in the morning, he's just not there. Okay, let me stop there as far as the waking up in the morning and finding him not there. She says, oh, where is he? And she tells a couple different stories, but that she thought maybe he was in the kitchen making some food because he does that. She goes to the kitchen, he's not there. Within 3 minutes, she says, one of her stories, 3 minutes, she's like freaked out. And she calls him and says, I can't find him. He's not in the house. I'm thinking 3 minutes. Okay. I go into my son's bedroom and he's not in bed. I'm like, what the heck? Oh, did he already get up for school? First of all, I'm not panicked. Maybe he got up on his own. He's 15, for God's sakes. I would yell for him, hey, Sebastian. And I think he's in the bathroom. That would be the first pace. That would take me about 30, 40 seconds at least. Then I go down to the kitchen and go, Sebastian? Okay, that's another minute gone. Okay, and then I'm going, Sebastian, where are you? I go to, I don't know, the living room, the hallway, family room. I don't know how many places I got in the house. I'd be calling around for him all over the house. What the heck? Sebastian, where are you? That's not going to take me 3 minutes. Then she says eventually, on one of the later interviews, that she checked the closets. But sometimes she says she talked to him first and then she checked the closets. And then she checked outside. And she also doesn't say that originally. So it's supposedly after she talks to stepdad. Okay. So my kid, I can't find him in the house. I'd be looking in every place I could, but I certainly be opening up the door and going outside going, Sebastian. I'd be screaming his name around the house, thinking maybe, what the heck? Did he go outside? Did he get in Where is he? And I'd be running around the house like a lunatic, looking for my son. That takes me more than 3 minutes. 3 minutes from the time I see him in the bed to going checking the bathrooms, the kitchen, wherever the heck, in different places in the house, closets, outside. That's not 3 minutes. It seems like he wasn't there. So I called him and said, he's not here. And then he says, you should check some more. She says she did. She calls the sheriff's department and says he's missing. That's a weird story right there. But then it gets weirder. The claim is they do not have any issue. They didn't think that somebody came into the house and took him, or somebody coaxed him out of the house. Nothing. They don't talk about any other reason for him leaving the house other than he decided to walk out of the house in the dark with bare feet, because I say all the shoes are there, and a flashlight. Now, his dad, Seth Rogers, says he don't like being barefoot. He does not like being barefoot. Don't buy that story at all. Especially, if you're running off into the woods or something. Bare feet is not the best thing to, do.
And in February.
But then you think flashlight. Why does he need a flashlight? Because he's what? He's in this dark outside. He is going into the woods. He's wandering down the street. What the heck? How do you know the flashlight's missing? They never explain the flashlight issue.
But the flashlight,
I don't know where the hell the flashlights are in my house. Half the time I can't figure out if I have a flashlight. And when my kids were growing up, never knew where they were. So, did they know the flashlight was missing because the flashlight always sits next to his bedstand? Or it's always on the kitchen counter? They don't explain this. Why would they know the flashlight's missing? Where was the flashlight to begin with? And so, okay.
To the best of my knowledge, that flashlight didn't work, and it was like a fidget toy for him. He used it like a fidget toy.
He goes out without his shoes, and he takes a flashlight. All right, let's go to my analysis. I don't know when the last time Sebastian was seen, but I can't come up with that information, but it seems like at least nobody saw him after dinner. In other words, he was at home with his stepdad and his mom. Those were the three that were in the home. As far as I can find out, there's no siblings. So the three of them are home alone. At some point, he gets in the vehicle and he starts driving off to Memphis. We don't know if Sebastian was alive before he left for Memphis or not. But I can tell you something. Usually when a child disappears with no shoes and a flashlight disappears as well, to me, it sounds like the child is being carried out of the house in the condition he's in, which is not having shoes on his feet, put in a vehicle. And the reason the flashlight is going with that child is because you're going to need the flashlight to take when you stop, wherever you stop, and you're going to do whatever you're going to do, you need a flashlight.
Do you agree with her? If he was there, why didn't he go to the Texas Roadhouse with him? Or did he? That would make sense why the stepsister actually was at the stepsister wasn't at the Texas Roadhouse. Well, unless the stepsister was Green Hoodie girl. I don't know. And she showed up as Katie and Sebastian were leaving. Green Hoodie girl did. But Sebastian wasn't at Texas Roadhouse. Because there's video of Katie and Sebastian eating at Texas Roadhouse, and they're the only two at the table. Katie's on one side and Sebastian's on the other. And Katie and Sebastian leave. There was an interchange with whoever Green Hoodie person was out by Katie's car. In my opinion, Chris's mom and stepdad, she wasn't in the building yet. She come from across the parking lot just before Katie and Sebastian came out of came out of the Texas Roadhouse. But Chris's mom and stepdad have a rental property in the next town over. Green hoodie girl went in the building after she talked to Katie at the car. She went past Katie and went into the building and used the bathroom and come back out. But then I'm thinking that in Gallatin, where they have their rental house, is where Chris was staying when he would come home on his weekends. Because in the video we just watched before, that dirt mover truck toy that she was playing with, later I'll find a video that toy was in the rental house in Gallatin. So I'm thinking that maybe that night Sebastian was taken to the rental house in Gallatin, and then somebody picked him up and took him someplace after that. That's just my thought. I don't know.
That's just my experience. So my problem is, let's take a look at the map. If that child did not walk out of the house on his own, I believe he's somewhere between Nashville and Memphis. That's a hell of a long journey. He could be anywhere. Absolutely anywhere in that long drive.
I agree.
I can't say that he didn't walk out of that house on his own to go look in the woods, but nobody's found his body in the woods. The tracker dogs haven't found they haven't tracked him into the woods. I don't know if they've had cadaver dogs anyplace, but they should have had them. I strongly believe Seth Rogers, Sebastian's father, does not believe his son is alive, and I believe he's looking at these two because of his behaviors and the way he talks. I think they don't believe Sebastian is alive, but not because they think something happened to him after he left the home. I see no indication that they think anybody else did anything to Sebastian, which is odd. And I don't think they think Sebastian's going to walk through that front door. That to them is ludicrous. So I don't think it's going to be a good ending. I'm not saying these two are guilty of anything. I'm just saying their behaviors are concerning. The way he supposedly disappeared with no shoes and a flashlight is concerning. So, yeah, that's what I think. And I hope I'm wrong. You know, I'm a profiler and I'm doing what I call red flag statement analysis. I hope I'm wrong. I'm hoping this kid, for whatever freaky reasons, did walk out of the house without shoes on his feet and with a flashlight and ended up at some friend's house and has been hiding in a basement. I'm good with being wrong. I love to be wrong because I'd rather have him be alive than me be right. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this case. Again, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe, and I will probably not talk about this case unless there's some breaking news on it, something that tells us actually what happened. I hope they find out one way or the other, because to bring closure to whomever needs the closure. So whomever does not know, like his bio dad, does not know what exactly happened to his son. Because I think these two indicate that they do know.
Wow. Wow. That was strong, wasn't it? I mean, she said things that a lot of other content creators wouldn't say or aren't saying. Okay. We've been on here for an hour and a half. I still have 2 pretty lengthy videos to go through. So I'm going to end here and start tomorrow where I am right now. So with that being said, thank you for being here. Do something nice for someone, even if it's just be the reason they smile, and get locked.